My name is Tarmack, and this is your game industry news wrap-up for the Electronic Arts E3 2016 press conference. Respawn Entertainment had a section of the press conference dedicated to Titanfall 2 with a slated release date of October 28th later this year. The multiplayer trailer showed off a Titan pulling some funky dance moves and the only good feature of Bionic Commando, the grappling hook. The big announcement, however, leaked earlier this morning and confirmed during the press conference is that one of the major lacking features from the first game has been rectified, and Titanfall 2 will have a single-player campaign. It has all of the visually stunning but cliché military action, and for some reason, the Titans have swords, because a sharpened blade works better against a metal target. Electronic Arts announced a varied number of esports events. Peter Moore claimed that they want to make stars of all of their players, making competition fun for everyone, regardless of how terrible a player they may be. I might be paraphrasing him a wee bit there. I'm not certain how they intend to do that, but I can assure you tournaments are far less fun when you lose. These esports events include challenger events to let players host their own tournaments, Premier, which are larger scale events hosted by EA, and finally, EA Major events, which are the actual tournaments that matter. They went on to talk about the upcoming Madden tournament, which can be watched on ESPN3, but interestingly, the final match will be on ESPN2. The problem with making all of your players stars, though, is that if everyone is a star, no one is. We also got to see a small piece of Mass Effect Andromeda. The premise of the story is based on leaving the Milky Way and going to the Andromeda galaxy because humanity needs a new home. The gameplay shown sure does look gorgeous, but that's just how the Frostbite engine rolls. As with several other things during this press conference, we really only got snippets and a commitment that they will show us more later, in the case of Andromeda this fall. On the plus side, it looks like the Mako vehicle sections are back, which was clearly the best part of Mass Effect 1. Also announced is something called Play to Give, which, as Andrew Wilson described, is a way of donating money to charities based on challenges introduced in games. For example, Battlefield has a new objective to help out teammates. Now, I can't help but feel that this was a bit misleading. If you're going to link charity donations to in-game challenges, then it is appropriate for players' involvement to make a difference. The end line of this is a $1 million donation at the end of EA Play, which goes on all week. Charity work is fine, but they should have challenged gamers by linking the size of the donation to how many challenges were completed. Let people get involved. The games are Battlefield, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, Star Wars Battlefront, FIFA 16, and Madden 16. FIFA 17 was shown, and it has what appears to be a single-player campaign, which was confusing as all hell, but okay, sure, why not? I know absolutely nothing about football or soccer or Rocket League or whatever you want to call it, so I'll refrain from commenting further for the moment. EA spent about 5 minutes of their conference talking about Star Wars, but without any product announcements or any real new information. I have to be honest, it felt kind of like a humble brag, merely showing off that, guess what everybody, EA has the Star Wars license, what do you think about that? Now, there was one interesting piece where the video showed a DICE dev with a PlayStation VR rig right after some dev computer screens of things like the Death Star Trench Run. This makes me think that their Battlefront VR game is going to be a rail shooter, and you know, if they pick the right battles, I'd be okay with that. Frankly, I sure hope Battlefield 2 has a single-player mode like EA just acknowledged is a good idea with Titanfall, because otherwise the chances I'll be playing that are about as good as bullseyeing Womp Rats. And last but not least, Battlefield 1 had some footage shown, and you know, they've got a heck of a lot of grit to the look and feel of that game. Basically everything looks awful, but it does so in a very crisp, advanced graphical sort of way. Unlike Titanfall 2, Battlefield 1 also has area destruction, a real mark against Titanfall, a game with bloody mechs in my opinion. They've got a solid 1 hour of gameplay available for people at the press conference, and even have Jamie Foxx and Zac Efron to stand there and both be awkward and get paid probably a lot of money for a very short period of time on camera. I've got to say, there was really only one moment during this whole press event that I felt was genuine. It's all overly scripted garbage, including the pretend banter between Peter Moore and whoever that football coach is that I would probably know if I knew anything about football. But there was the one diamond in the rough, and that was Klaus from Zoink Games showing off Fee. I was disappointed to not see more indie development under the EA indie brand, an oxymoron if I've ever said one, but Klaus shone through like a beacon of honesty in a mire of deception and grease. He was so nervous and awkward that you just got the feeling that all he wanted in this world was for people to see and like their game. A game that was not on my radar, and now very much is. This has been your Game Industry News Wrap-Up for the Electronic Arts E3 2016 press conference. I'm Tarmack. Thanks for watching.